Hello everyone, welcome to this channel named Geeks for Geeks School, and also those who have joined this lecture on my channel named 𝙁𝙤𝙙𝙞𝙖, I welcome those also. So today we are going to learn about how can we make a translator app in Thunkable, right? So the first thing that we have to understand is the process that we need to follow for accessing the Thunkable platform. So what you can do, you can write down. So this is going to redirect you on a beautiful web page where right on the top you will find a hyperlink through which you can access the required website of Thunkable, right? Let's access this one. So Thunkable is just like code.org, where we guys can use block-based coding for developing responsive mobile applications. And if you have the knowledge of website development things, definitely you can create magical things without using any code on this beautiful platform. So what the first thing which you have to do when after coming on this platform is that you have to log in onto this platform. How can you do that? Hit this login button and it is going to redirect you on this beautiful web page, the URL of which is x.thunkable.com/login, and you guys can then make use of your Gmail ID or whatever ID you have for creating your profile on this platform. If you already have a profile of your own, on this platform, definitely you will be redirected directly to your dashboard, the way I have come on my dashboard. So because I've already redirected me directly on this beautiful dashboard of mine. Now after coming to your dashboard, you need to hit this create new app option, and it is going to redirect you to this beautiful window. Now you can put a name for your project in this input box. Let's have Google into your translator. Fine. And then you can choose a category if you want. So I would like to choose community and entertainment, right? And once you're done with this, you can hit this create button. So right from the scratch, we will be developing this Google Translator app. Fine. And if you are right now on your device, I would like you guys also to repeat the same, do the same thing which I am going to show you now in this tutorial. Okay, so this is the platform. Now it is divided into three different parts. On this first part, you can see all the components over here. Fine, and you just have to drag and drop the components over here if you want to add some component to your app. Then this is a mobile simulator screen, okay, where you will get to see the view of your mobile app, the way it is going to look on your mobile phone. Then there is one more screen over here where whatever component you're going to select, its properties are going to reflect over here. If you want to modify the appearance of the component, you can make use of these properties. You can change the values and get the desired output, right? So let's begin with designing the first screen. So on the first screen, I would like to have first an animation button, okay, and before that, let's define a row. So I'm going to place it over here. So you just have to drag it and drop it on the mobile simulator screen. Either you can do it like this, or else you can just drag it and drop it over here on the top. In that way also you can add the component to this screen 1. The name of this screen is screen 1. If you want to suppose change the name of the screen, select the screen and hit this button rename over here. So that's how you can change it to welcome. Okay, so we have a row component on this mobile simulator screen. Let's now add some animation to this row. So there is a component named animation that you guys can make use of for adding some animation to your mobile application. I am placing it over here. Okay, fine. So it is a part of this row, right? It is inside this row. Okay, now let's find out some animation on Google that we guys can make use of for our app that we are designing and make it look more appealing. So you guys can add .json files to this animation tab. Now how to find those files, that's what I would like to help you guys with. So what you can do when you come on this Google, just type out Lottie over here. So Lottie animation. So you will be redirected on this Lottie files and hit this hyperlink, which is going to redirect you on a very beautiful website where you can find all the kind of animations you can add to your mobile app you're making on Thunkable. Fine. Okay, so get started for free. So if you want to search for some animation, what you can do, you can come over here. I want to search for this swipe left animation. Let's see whether we have something like this or not. Yes, we have. Not swipe left, it should be swipe right. Let's search with this keyword. So when you will type out this in this input box and hit the enter button, these are the results you're going to come across. It's taking a little bit of time to load because it's JSON files, so they are quite heavy as in comparison to normal image files. And for your information, I would like to tell you guys that currently I am streaming this tutorial on two different YouTube channels. One is mine with name 𝙁𝙤𝙙𝙚𝙤𝙀, and the second one is GFG, okay, GFG School. So let's go with this one. So we need to hit this, we need to click on this image, and automatically this is what you're going to come across. So right on the top on this window, you will be able to find this download option. Hit this option to download the file. So automatically this is a cascading menu you're going to come across where you will get to see these many options. I want to download the Lottie JSON format of this file. Okay, so it is asking me to sign in first. Let's make use of the Gmail account. So there are a couple of options available to you over here with which you can sign up yourself on this platform and enjoy the animated images. Fine. So I'm going to make use of this email ID of mine. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay. Let's hit this download button one more time and select this 𝙁𝙤𝙙𝙀 file. So I think this time it will get downloaded directly because I'm already signed into this platform. Yes, so the file is here with this name 28099 swipe right .json file. Now we need to come on this Thunkable platform again, and let's select this animation tab over here. Okay, now how can we add that JSON file to this animation tab? We need to come over here in the properties section and make use of this animation property. So when you'll click on this input box, automatically these are the two options you're going to come across. Now you can hit this upload files button and choose the relevant file which you want to upload for this in this animation tab. So it is going to redirect you to one of the location present on your computer. And it's very easy to use. Thunkable, just like code.org, Thunkable is also very easy to use. You guys can use it very easily, and it's very simple. Besides being a simple platform, it's also very convenient and user friendly. So it's taking a bit of time, no problem. We'll wait. Okay, so now I think the file has got downloaded in the downloads part. Yes, so it's with name swipe 28099. This is the one, right? Let's select this file. So after selecting the file, when you will hit the open button, automatically it will get uploaded, and after some time the file will be visible to you over here on this beautiful animation, on this beautiful mobile simulator screen. So this is a file, right? The animation is visible to us. Now if you want to increase the size of this tab, what you can do, you can come down. Let's make it 300. Okay, so that's how you can increase the height. And if you want to increase the width, let's change it to 300. Fine. So we have this animation tab inside this row, right? So what we can do, we can make it make the size of this row equal to this animation tab. How can we do that? We can select this row button and let's select fit contents in place of this fill container. So now this is what is going to happen. So now the row, now the content is perfectly fit inside this row. Okay, fine. Now besides this, I would like to have a label box also on this first screen. So what we can do, we can write down label over here, and we can then drag it and drop it right in the bottom. Okay, so the label is visible to us over here. If you want to shift it to the bottom, what you can do, you can drag it and drop it like this. Just a second. Or else we can, no, I don't want to put it inside the row. I want the row to be above the label. Yeah, like this. So that's how you can make the adjustments. Fine. Now what I want to get reflected in this label box, let's write it down over here in this text property. So swipe right to begin. That's what I would like to see getting reflected in this label box. Fine. And if you want to customize the appearance of this label box, it's very easy. You can make use of these properties over here. So let's change the background color first. How about blue? Okay, and let's have white for the faux color. So white is going to be this. Yeah, now it is looking nice. Fine. And then if you want to play with the borders of this, you can make use of this border property. Let's make it 50. 50 is the width. Okay. Then if you want to define some space, if you want to have some space in between this row and this label box, how can you do that? You can make use of this margin property. Let's have, no, 10 pixels is not good. Let's make it 60. Yes, it is a good option. How about 100? Yeah, 100 is perfectly fine. Right, and let's increase the padding also. So I would like to have a padding of let's say about 20 in the bottom, 20 in the right. So it is going to give us some space inside the component like this. Swipe right to begin. Okay, and let's have some border radius also, so as to make these borders over here go round. Let's have 30 for the border size. Yeah, now it is perfectly fine. Okay, so that's how you can customize this animation, this button over here, right? This label box. Okay. Do we have something in this advanced section? No, there is nothing. Fine. So we are done with designing this first screen named welcome. Now we are going to create one more screen. So how can you create a new screen on this Thunkable platform? That is the first thing we need to understand, right? Before designing that new screen. So you can hit this plus button present right below this screen name, and this is what it is going to do for you. So it will create one more screen. Okay, and you'll get to see the name of the screen getting reflected right on the top. So that's how you can navigate in between the two screens. If you want to come on this welcome, you can do it like, you can just click on this welcome and automatically it will redirect you to the welcome screen. If you want to go on this screen 1, you can just tap on this and you will be redirected on that new screen you have created. So I would like to first change the name of this screen to home. Okay, fine. Now the first thing that I would like to do for this home screen is let's have a label box right on the top of this home screen. So I'm placing this label box over here. Fine, and I am renaming it to output label. Okay, so this is a label box I've placed on this home screen. Then we can have one input box in which we can in which the user can write down something. So text input is the required component. Let's drag it and drop it over here. Okay, I want to see this label on the top of this input box. So for doing that, we can make the adjustments. From here we can drag it and drop it like this. Now the label box is on the top of this input box. Fine. Similarly, I want to have a button right below this input box, so we can type button over here. Fine, and let's add this button to this home screen. Okay, so now we have a button also. I want to see it getting reflected below this input box. So let's make the required changes. I just have to drag it and drop it like this, and the position is going to change. Okay, and besides that, let's have one more button. Okay, and I would like to drop it over here. Now I want to see it getting reflected below this button 1. So that's how we can make the adjustments. Fine. Let's have a list viewer also, in which we are going to add all the required information. So list viewer, not all the required information, it is going to help us in pulling the information from the local database that we will be adding to our app. Okay, and all the information will be visible to the user in the form of a list. So that's how we you can utilize this list viewer component. So when you will drag it and drop it over here on this screen, it is going to come like this, but I want to see it getting reflected right at the bottom. So that's why I'm dragging it and dropping it over here. Okay, so now this is what I'm getting over here. Let's now customize the appearance of this screen to make it look more appealing. So the first thing that I would like to customize is let's change the name of this label box. Okay, I've already changed it to output label. That is completely fine. So we will be making use of this label box for getting the output reflected. Okay, and then let's change this text input 1 to input box. Fine. Now in this input box, the user will be required to make the input or to write down the input. Fine. And by default, I want to see this thing getting reflected inside this input box. Type something here. Fine, and let's place these dots. Okay, now if you want to increase the width and height of this input box, you can come down over here. Let's change this one to if I'll make use of this option, let's see what's gonna happen. 50. Okay, so that's how you can increase the height. Similarly, if you want to increase the width, you can change it to this option. And let's make it 100%. I think this is going to be a good option. 100%. No, 100 is going to be something like this. I don't want it to cover the entire width. Let's make 50. No, 50 is not looking good. How about 70? Yes, 70 is fine. And let's reduce the height to 30. I think 30 is more than enough. Or how about 60? Not 60. 50 is a good option, but why is it not looking nice? How about 45? Not 4 or 5, I want 45. Yeah, it is better. Let's increase it to 80. Yeah, now this is looking perfectly fine. Okay. Now if you want to change the padding thing, you can do it like this. About 12. No, 12 is not fine. I want to see it getting reflected somewhere in the middle. So 40. Okay. About 90. Yeah, now it is perfectly fine. Left, I want to see it getting reflected somewhere in the middle. So for doing that, we can just make use of this left option. 45. No, it is going to shift it completely in the left side. I don't want to see that happening. Let's make it 23. 23. Okay. How about 28? Perfect. Fine. Then if you want to change the this is visible to us by default. Okay. I want to define some border for this. So you can make use of this option, border. Let's have a border of 2 pixels. I think this much is fine. And what kind of what is the color you would like to give to the border? So I would like the color to be yellow. I think this is going to be a good option. Okay, and radius 78. No, 78 is not a good option. Let's make it 23. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and how about 20? Border width 5. And style we need to select. So I would like to see a solid border. So that's what you're going to get finally as an output after making after defining the required values for these properties over here, for these border properties over here. Okay, now I want to shift it downwards. How can we do that? So we can make use of this margin top property. 10, no, 40. Yeah, 40 is I think fine. Okay, and then let's come on this button 1. So the first thing that I would like to do is, let's change the name of this button 1 to translate. Okay, and what is the text I want to see inside this button getting reflected? So this is the text translate, which I want to see it getting reflected, which I want to see getting reflected inside the button. Okay, and coming down, let's change the background color. I don't want to have this blue color. I think this, how about this orange? No, and green. Yes, I want to make it more colorful, right? Okay, and then in order to shift it down, we guys can I think make use of this margin top property, so as to create some space in between this what we call it, input box and this translate button. 30. Okay, so it has shifted now to this position. You want to have some padding? No, already padding is there. What kind of border radius do you want? 75 is more than enough, I think. Okay, I want to see it raised. Fine, so that's what you can change. You just have to hit this raised option and it will, you have to make it true just by clicking on this option. Okay, and then you want to see it getting reflected in italics, so you can hit this option. Now the text inside this button is going to get reflected in italics. Okay, so this is also looking nice, right? Fine. Let's now customize the appearance of this button, that is button 2. Now the first thing that I want to do is let's change the name to select language. Okay, and I want to see the same thing getting reflected on the top of the button 2. So making it select language. Okay, and then I don't want to have any kind of background color for this one, so 170 is also a good option, but no, I'm not going to use it. 140, yes, 140 is perfectly fine. Let's now come on this list viewer 1. So initially I don't want this list viewer to be visible to the user on this screen when he will come on this screen. Okay, so how can we make it go disappear? What we can do, we can select this list viewer, and there is a property which you can find over here in this property section named visible. Right now it is true. If you will click this option, it will go false, and that list viewer is no more be visible to the user. We can make it visible afterwards. Definitely we will do that, but for now we don't want to see it over here on this screen. So that's how you can define, you can customize the invisible components that we will be requiring for storing the data and for accessing the data. So the first thing that I would like to do is I would like to add a local database. Fine, database is a place where you can store the data. Okay, and it will be visible to you once it will get added successfully. It is going to get visible to you guys over here in this invisible component section. It will not be visible to you guys in this visible component section. It will be visible to you in this invisible component section. See, the local database component I've just added, but because it didn't get added successfully, that is the reason it is not getting visible to us over here. Let's do like this. Let's drag it and drop it like this over here. Okay, so now it has got added successfully and it is visible to us over here, right? It is getting reflected over here also. Fine. Now after doing this, we can let's add the required information to this local database. So for that, what we can do, we can select this and let's hit this click to edit data table. So this is what you're going to come across. Now let's define a column with name Translator, and let's have one more column with name text to speech. Okay, so as you can see now the column name have changed. Okay, these are the index numbers with which you can refer to any row and access the data present in that row. So the first thing that I would like to add is English, and for this the output should be in English US. Let's add the second language, so French, and here also I am going to do the same thing. For this it should be French only. Now I am adding German, it should be German over here, and likewise you can add many more languages. It totally depends upon you how many languages you want to add to this database. Fine, if you want to add this Chinese, you can add that also. Okay, and fine, let's close this window. So we are done with adding the required data to this local database. Now we are going to add this translator. So this is going to help us in translating the things. So I am going to drag it and drop it again over here. Let's see whether it will get successfully added or not. No, it hasn't got successfully added. Let's do it one more time. I think this time I have successfully added it. Let's see whether... No, it hasn't got added. Just a second. Yeah, now this translator has been successfully added. Fine, and it is present with this name translator 1. Okay, by default the source language is English US only. So these are the various various languages you can add to your local database. Okay, fine. So there are three things that you have to keep in mind. What is this source language? Second one is this target language, and the third thing is Yandex API key, which is default. So you don't have to define anything for this, but for the source language and the target language, we will be defining the code using these blocks which are present over here. Fine. Okay, so we are done with defining all the required components. Let's now jump to the coding section. So what we have to do first, we have to define the code for this welcome screen. We need to come over here on this block section. So we have a button over here for this welcome screen. The name of this button you will be able to see right in the bottom over here. So we have a button with name welcome. I think this is not the one, this is the name of the screen. This is animation 1, right? So let's hit this animation 1 and check out what are the different blocks do we have for this animation 1. So we have these blocks for this, and that we guys can make use of for defining the code for this animation 1 button. So I'm going to make use of this one. When the user will hit this animation 1 button, when he will click on this animation button, what should happen? I would like him to get redirected on this home screen. So for doing that, we can come on this control section and let's make use of this navigate to option. So this is going to help us in navigating the user to the home screen. Fine. So we are done with defining the required code for the animation button. Let's now go on this home screen and define the required code for the components we have over here for this home screen. Right. Okay. So the first thing that I would like to define is the code for this list viewer 1. Let's select this. So when the list viewer 1 item is clicked, what is this list viewer 1? You remember we placed this list viewer right at the bottom and we selected that invisible option for that list viewer button. So that's what we are going to code first. So when the user will hit that list viewer 1 button, this is what I would like to happen. So I'm going to go on this logic, not on the logic, but let's go on this select language. Okay, and make use of this select languages text. Fine. And I would like, what is the select language? Let me show that also to you. So select language is this button, right? So I would like, just a second, where is this block? Okay, so set select language, whatever text is getting reflected over here right now. So right now this select language is getting reflected, right? I want this to change to the one which the user has selected, the language which the user has selected. So it is going to come in this item variable. Okay, so that's the reason I've placed this item over here. Now we can, again make the list viewer go disappear. How can we do that? Once the user is done with making the required selection, I want it to go again disappear. So for doing that, we guys can make use of list viewers visible. This is the one with which we can set the visibility of this list viewer, and let's make it false. Let's change it to false. Fine. Now I am going to define a variable. So let's make use of this first block present right in the top in this variable section, named Initialize App Variable name. Okay, so I'm going to drag it and drop it over here. Okay, so I would like to name it just a second, let me check out something over here. So it is initialize and okay, because I want to store something in this, so that's the reason I need to change it to stored, right? And let's now change it to language. So automatically, what is going to happen once you're done with defining this language named variable, it will get reflected in this variable section. This variable, you will be able to see it everywhere. See, language, 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 right? Okay, so we are done with defining a variable now. Let's now make use of this variable for getting the index of this list viewer one. So I would like to save this index number in this variable, and how can we do that? We can come on this variable section and make use of this here. So I would like to set it equal to the index number of the value with which the user is going to select. Now let's go on this translator one, and I would like to now set the target language for this translator one. You remember we have three things for this translator one: default key, target language, and the source language. So out of those three, I want to set the target language. Now to what should I set the target language? So I can select the target language from this local database where I saved all the inputs that will be visible to the user in this list viewer thing, right? So let's do that, and what we can do, we can make use of this get cell option. We can call the cells using this one. And now what was the name of the first column? The name of the first column is translator, right? So I'm going to make use of this block, and inside this I am going to write down translator. So this is a column where we have saved all the names of all the languages. And where can we get the index number from of this language? We can get it from this stored variable language, right? So let's go on this variable section and make use of this, not this one, sorry. We need to make use of this stored variable language, and let's place it over here like this. Okay, once you're done with that, you can now start defining the code for this button, you know, this translate button which we have placed over here on this screen. So the name of this button is translate, right? This is the button I'm talking about. Let's make use of this when translate click block, and I am going to place it over here. So when the user will hit this translate button, whatever he has written inside this input box, I want that to get translated into the language he has selected from the list viewer. Okay, so how can we do that? What we can do, we can come on this translator one, because this is a component which is actually going to make the required translation. Let's make use of this call translator one and place it over here. Fine, I'm going to place it right in the bottom so that the code can be more visible to you guys. Just a second. Okay, now it is, I think, perfectly fine. Okay, now what we can do, we can make use of this text to translate property present in this block for getting the input text first. So what is the text I want to translate? That's what I have to mention for this thing over here. How can we do that? We can come on this input text, because this is the component in which the user is going to provide the input, right? And we can select this input text block, which you can easily find over here. This is the one that you can make use of, and then just change this hint to text, because you want to get the text inputted by the user, right? So that's how you can do it. Okay, fine. And now we need to set the output label text also. So output is going to visible to us over here in this label box. So we need to set the text for this output label box. How can we do that? Just a second, let me come down. So output, we need to first select this output label, and let's make use of this set output label text block. So I would like to set it equal to the result which this translator one is going to give us. Fine, so we are done with defining the required code for this translator button also. Let's now come on this select language. So when the user will hit this select language, you know, after this, when the user will come on this home screen for the first time, he will hit this select language in order to see the list viewer component in which all the languages will be visible to him, right? So how can we code this button in a way that on hitting this button, the list viewer component should be visible to the user? In that way we have to code this button. So select language is a button, and then we can go up over here. When the user will hit this select language button, I would like, where is that list viewer one? This is the one. So I would like the user to see this set list viewer 1 to true. Fine, we need to set it to true. Then only the user will be able to see this list viewer, right? Let's test it whatever we have designed and code till now. Let's check out what is the kind of output we are going to get, whether it is working fine or not. So I need to first come on this welcome screen and let's hit this live test option available to us over here right on the top. So we this animation is visible to us. Let's and it is this text is saying swipe right to begin, so we need to swipe it to the right. Okay, so the screen has changed, right? And if I will hit this select language button, let's see what's gonna happen. So that list viewer, why that list viewer component is not visible to me? I think this is not working fine. Just a second. So list viewer item click, okay. Sorry, I think we haven't defined that code for that home start screen. So when the user will come on this home screen, I would like some data to get uploaded on the app. So for that particular part we haven't defined the code yet. That is the reason we were not able to see that list viewer getting reflected in the bottom. So what we can do, we can come on this home screen. Okay, home screen option, and let's make use of this, not this one. I want to make use of this home start. So when this screen will be loaded on the app, what should happen? So I would like to first check the value of the stored variable language, this variable that I've defined right on the top over here. How can we put a check on any component? So what we can do, we can make use of this if loop. Just a second. First of all, I would like to where is that if loop? I think easily find it in this control section. Okay, so let's go ahead and make use of this if loop. So I would like to check first whether the value of the stored variable language is null or not. So we need to make use of this mathematical operator, or you can say logical operator, and let's make it not equal to. So if the value of this stored variable language is not equal to null, so I would like a particular code to get executed, to be executed by the compiler. And what is that code? Whatever I have written over here, translators one target language, I would like that to get executed. So I'm done with creating a copy of this. How can we create a copy of a code? You just have to select the code by clicking on that, and you can make use of the shortcut keys Control and C and Control and V together, and that's how you can create a copy of a particular block. Fine. So this is the code which I would like to get executed, and then I would like to set the items for the list view one. So how can we do that? That's the reason we were not able to see anything, because we haven't set the items for this list viewer one yet. How can we set the items? We can make use of this block set list viewer one text items. Fine, and then we can set it equal to, let's pull the information from this local database. So I would like to pull the information from this columns, right? Let's place it over here. Okay, and then from which column I would like to pull the information, that's what the name of that column I have to mention. So we can make use of this block and place and write down translator over here. Okay, now let's check out whether this app which we have designed and developed, it is going to work fine or not, or it is going to give us the correct output or not. Let's check it out. So this is how you can run the code. Fine, just a second, let me go back again on this main screen, which is a welcome screen. Let's hit this live test button to run this app. So this is the window you're going to come across. Now you can come down and swipe this animation. So this is the screen you will get redirected to. Now you can hit this select language button. Automatically, in this list viewer is going to appear in the bottom, right? You can select one of these options available to you over here. Let's go with German. Okay, let's write down something over here. So that's what you will get to see getting reflected right on the top. So this app has successfully translated this English into the German output, right? So that's how you can make a translator app using the basic things available on this beautiful Thunkable platform. Hope you guys enjoyed this lecture a lot, but before ending this, let me show the whole code one more time to you guys so that you can also try it at your home. So this is the code which I've defined for this welcome screen. Fine, and when you'll come on this home screen, so this is the whole code which I've defined over here. So there is a variable with name language which I've defined right on the top. Then there is this when block which you can easily find from this control section, and you can make use of it for putting a check on this list viewer one element. So this is a code which we have inside this when loop. Then we have this thing, what is going to happen when the user will hit the translate button. So this is what the platform is going to execute, and finally the output is going to get reflected in the label box which we have placed right on the top on the second window. Then we have this code which is going to get executed when the screen will get loaded, when this home screen will get loaded for the first time. And we have this code 2 which is going to set this list viewer 1 again to true, right, when the set language button will be clicked. Initially it is the visibility of this list viewer 1 button is false, but if the user want to see it, he can hit this select language button present right in the bottom, and all the options which we have defined over here inside this local database are going to get visible to the user, right? So that's how you can design and develop this beautiful translator app. Hope you guys enjoyed this lecture a lot. Do not forget to like and share the video in your group and make it reach to the maximum students possible. Thank you very much for joining me in this lecture, and have a great day and have a great future. Bye bye everyone.